All right. Very early morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Market Trading. I'm your host, Tone Vays. Of course, my camera zoomed out again right after my live stream. So I have to start the camera software so I can get my bed out of the way. I don't know why the camera started doing that. I'm actually super annoyed by this, and there's nothing I can do to stop it. This wasn't happening last week, but it's like frustrating me every time I do a video. All right. Yeah, it's just super annoying. Like it's, I know it sounds silly and small, but when you're looking at your camera and you set it up and then you hit the live button and it suddenly zooms out by like 25 to 30%, it's just such a frustrating experience, which is probably why I didn't do a video like 12 hours ago. It's just super annoying and I have no idea how to fix it. All right, let's go to charts. Let's start with the correlation. I see the comment that says, why are stocks shooting up? I don't know which stocks you're looking at. They're not shooting up. Like, we have to be realistic here. Why is this the Ethereum chart? Shit. I have to find my S&P chart that I was using before. And I don't know which one it is. There's this one. Okay. So I'm not sure where you seeing stocks shooting up. This is not stocks shooting up. They are still about 15% below all-time highs from a year and a half ago, 13%. And we're at the same price we were back in February. So we had two decent weeks in the market and we've broken the prior swing highs, but this isn't exactly, 1999. So like, uh, now, like I said, it's very possible that the stocks will go up a lot if the government defaults on their debts, uh, which is going to be interesting. I have no idea what the government's going to do on June 1st. I don't think they're going to do anything. They technically don't have to do anything. They don't really have to worry much for another month or two. Uh, but eventually, they're going to have to find a way to raise that debt ceiling. And it's going to be interesting if they do. You guys know my view on it. If I was in that room, uh, the only way I would agree to raising the debt ceiling is uh, to stop funding Ukraine. That's the only way I would do it. Like, no, not a single dollar goes to Ukraine. Uh, we'll help them rebuild the country, but we're not paying their salaries anymore. That's what I would do to solve the debt ceiling problem, and that would be the one big demand. Uh, because the moment the money stops going to Ukraine, Ukraine will have to sign a peace agreement, and Ukrainians will survive. Uh, Like the moment the money stops flowing, that's when you're actually going to have peace. Though the Ukrainian government will probably collapse because then not a single government employee would be paid. So that would cause other problems in Ukraine. But at least Russians won't be killing them anymore because they will have no choice but to uh, agree to a peace deal. Because right now it's just a black hole for US money. It's all going to the weapons manufacturers anyway. But I don't think Republicans are interested in that. It's harder for me to read the live chat right now. I'm only working with one monitor today. Yeah, I'm still in Japan. I'm in Kyoto, and I'm going to Hiroshima the day after tomorrow. So I'll be traveling again. Not much to say on Bitcoin. Oh, this was we did a deep dive into the 3-month chart. I think this is supposed to be our weekly chart. Why is this Ethereum as well? What is going on? I haven't looked at Ethereum forever. Why is this an Ethereum chart? Was I hacked again? What's going on? Here's the weekly Bitcoin chart. This is very promising. We're working on a green candle. I know today is only Tuesday. And we bounced right off the moving averages. Bounced right off the moving averages. So let's see if we can start challenging the swing highs or, yearly highs. Not much to say on a weekly chart. Our allocation is good at 80%. I'm sticking to it. I would need the breach of the swing low in order to lower the 80% allocation. Right now, I'm very comfortable with it. We have 2 days left in this candle. And if next candle is going above current candle, I'm going to be really comfortable with it. Yes, it's an MRI buy on a 4-hour, but I don't really pay attention to the MRI indicator on the Consensio chart all that much. Now, once the moving average is crossed, I would want to go more than 100%, but we don't take on leverage positions here. This is a retirement style allocation. So there is no leverage there. Check out the Financial Summit, guys, for those interested in all things finance, investing, and trading. The event's coming up in the UAE, November 5 to 10. Unconfiscatable is coming back to Las Vegas in December. December 7 and 8 for the conference, and December 6th for the poker tournament. Speaking of bit farms, Ben Gagnon is scheduled to come back and speak at our event once again. So will Greg Foss. Wow, Greg Foss got really pissed at Bitcoin 2023. I retweeted it. Oh, I gotta unpin that. I am still in Japan though. Yeah, that's Greg Foss. You guys want to hear him? Maybe my YouTube channel will get banned. Maybe you can just read him. You gotta hear him though. It was yeah, he's basically like, I had no idea this happened. Like, what the hell is this? Is this a Bitcoin conference, Ethereum conference, or like a shitcoin conference? Like, what the hell is this? Can someone tell me what the hell this was? My internet here is not great where I'm at. I don't know why this is not playing. Like, what the hell is this? Like, this is the kind of shit that Ethereum does. This is crazy. No, like I totally understand why Greg Foss went Greg, basically. What is this? Bitcoin 4 hour. Well, Bitcoin 4 hour is actually not that impressive. We have monster consolidation. We got rejected by the MRI resistance line. We're right at horizontal resistance as well. I would raise this line to this area. If we go below this red line, Bitcoin can really break down. But if we go above that line, the lows should be in. This is basically a no trade zone right here. So once Bitcoin is above 27.5, should be all good. Not much to say on GBTC. It's actually getting worse. Oil hanging in there. Oh, I can't wait for the next set of numbers. We have to wait till Thursday, the next set of numbers. And natural gas pulled back a bit. Could be an opportunity there. On a daily chart, looks kind of good. Looks like a beautiful pullback on a daily chart. Also off an MRI sell. 1 to 4 candle correction is about to end. Gold still pulling back. Gold's about to come into its support as well. 1950 is very good support for gold. S&P, as I've mentioned, I think the S&P can really rally here because government debt is unsafe and you got to put your money somewhere. So why not the stock market? I don't really see a head and shoulder. You got to tell me what time frame. Guys, you can't just say, do you see a head and shoulders on Bitcoin? On what time frame? 1 minute, 5 minute, 3-year time frame? Guys, there's an infinite number of time frames. Oh, daily time frame. My bad. I'm the retard. Pedro, my bad. Daily time frame. I don't see a head and shoulders. I don't even like head and shoulders. I don't like the pattern. I mean, if that's your left shoulder and that's your right shoulder and that's the head, I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it as a pattern. And I don't really see it. It's not clean. We can check a couple of stocks. Like I said, I'm very surprised that the Russian currency is devaluing, considering they took Bakhmut and already renamed the city. Very surprised. DXY is rising. That I'm not surprised at. Greg Foster is usually right. I disagree with him on some stuff, but he's usually right. Wolf's been a popular mining stock. Weekly scale. Looks good. I know nothing about that company, though. Like I said, my favorite is Bitfarms. It's my favorite mining stock. Had an opportunity to buy it at 40 cents. It's now $1.15. It's my favorite mining stock. Bitfarms. If you've been watching my channel long enough, you know that's my favorite Bitcoin mining stock. Yeah, but oil hasn't been going lower in the last couple of weeks. So that doesn't make sense for the Russian ruble to be lower. Riot is doing really well. Right off an MRI buy as well, just like Bitfarms. Beautiful buying opportunity. Those interested in the MRI, go to tovays.com, products and services. MRI indicator. I'm already on the page. Let's see how many days we are to the halving. 340 if we use the 10-minute average. I'm not sure Bitcoin is being mined this quickly at 811. We can check mempool. I'm still waiting for the mempool to, like, clear up. We're at 220 blocks behind. That's not great. Mempool looks a bit clogged. It's not as bad as this, but it's not great. It's not ideal. Well, 20 set per byte will get you into the next block. That's not bad. All right, I got just a few more minutes. I can look at some charts. Give me some suggestions. What makes it your favorite? It's a very simple question in Bitcoin. What makes something my favorite is trust in the management of the company. Now, I personally meet a lot of CEOs. I meet a lot of people. I meet a lot of people that work for the companies, and I talk to these people. So, what makes Cold Card one of my favorite wallets? I trust the creator of Cold Card. What makes Jade one of my favorite wallets? I trust the creator of Jade. Why have I always hated Ledger? I never trusted the people behind Ledger. So why is Bitfarms my favorite company? Because I trust the C-level management of that company. That company is, I could be scammed. Like, why did I never trust FTX? Because I found Sam Bankman-Fried to be just like anytime he spoke, anytime I saw him, he just made my skin crawl. Like, FTX was one of my most hated companies because of the person in charge of that company. I'm also not a fan of CZ, so I'm not a big fan of Binance and never was. But I was always a big fan of Jesse over at Kraken. So Kraken has always been one of my more favorite companies. So the answer is simple. What makes Bitfarms my favorite company is the fact that it's one of the few companies where I trust the senior management of that company in the mining space. I hate Coinbase. I never want anybody using Coinbase, but I support Swan. If you go to my affiliate page, I support Swan. By the way, I think I need to remove LVL. I mean, the only reason why I have it here is because Jimmy Song and Willie Wu were like advisors for this company, but I think it's shutting down. I never really understood why they were so big on that company. I think I interviewed them once, and I met the CEO. I personally wasn't crazy impressed, like I am with Swan Team, like I am with Start 9 Team. Uh, so it really comes down to trust. It's like the old JP Morgan quote, the original JP Morgan. Let me see if I can get you that quote. Hold on. JP Morgan, the original JP Morgan from like the 1900s. Let me see if I can get that quote. I want to get it as a picture. Hold on. I get it from like Martin Armstrong's blog because like he had a really good picture of it. It's not going to be easy to Google. I'm Googling on another monitor. Because he had the whole exchange. It was during a Senate hearing. Because I want the exchange quote. I like the verbal exchange between the two. I don't think I have that quote saved. I'm gonna try Googling it again. All right, new plan. Give me a second. I know it's dead air, which is bad. Oh man, I was hoping this video would be playing. Maybe I'll get lucky. Man, wish I saved that picture. All right, I'll just show you the quote. I can't show you the exchange. There was a lot more to that quote. Just, it's not coming up at all in these searches. I don't even remember how I got on this tangent at this point. Oh, I remember. Why do I trust the Okay, so basically this was in an exchange. It was see, they don't have the other side of the other side of the conversation. This was during a Senate hearing in 1912 testimony. Like if you I'm sure there's a transcript of the testimony. And this congressman is trying to find out what is the most important thing in lending money. And he said, well, the most important. So the question was, so he wanted confirmation from J.P. Morgan that uh, he would lend money to a credit-worthy person. And he said, so the most important thing is collateral. And J.P. Morgan says that the first thing in credit is character, before money or anything else. Money cannot buy it. A man I do not trust could not get the money from me on all the bonds in Christendom. I'm not sure what that means, though. I think that is the fundamental basis of business. So basically, JP Morgan tried to explain to the Senate that the most important thing in money lending is character. It's not your collateral. It's not how much money you have. It's your character. So why is Bitfarms my favorite mining stock? Is character. Now that can change. They can lose my trust, and then they will no longer be my favorite, mining stock. But just like JP Morgan, it comes down to character. If the character of Sam Bankman-Fried just made my skin crawl from the moment like I heard of him for the very first time. And that's the real thing in investing and trading. Look, guys, I don't think a ledger nano should ever be used. It's a strange question for me. Hey, Brian, thanks for moderating the chat. I never liked Ledger. I never recommended Ledger. So when you say, do you think a ledger should still be used without the firmware? The answer is absolutely not. Ledger is notorious for discontinuing their software, rendering your device not functioning. I've personally experienced this. So no, absolutely not. You should never use a ledger. You should have never been using a ledger to begin with. Again, character. The ledger company never had character. They never had the right character for the Bitcoin ecosystem. You want to use a product that is there to support the Bitcoin community, not a product that is there to make money that also happens to be useful to the Bitcoin community, which is why no one should ever use Coinbase. Go use Swan. Adam Blanche, your comment is, I care not who makes the rules, who controls the money. So that quote is actually attributed to the Rockefellers. And there's actually no evidence that it was ever stated. Let's see if this should be like 95% no raise next quarter. Still only at 76. Wow. They actually think he's going to raise rates still. And at the same time, they think he's going to lower rates at the end of the year. Well, like, this is the weirdest thing. So Powell comes out and says, we broke a bunch of banks, so we're going to slow our roll and probably not raise rates. And Wall Street still thinks they're going to raise rates to the tune of 23%. While at the same time, they think that in September, there is a 17% chance that the rate's going to be lower than right now. So that means there's a 23% chance it's going to go up 25 basis points. And at the end of the summer, it's going to go down 50 basis points. Like, that's insane. Absolutely insane. Thanks, Popex. Yeah, so we're mining blocks at 9.8 minutes, which speeds it up a bit. That's good. All right, guys, I don't have anything else. Bitcoin is looking nice, but on a 4-hour chart, it's stuck in consolidation mode, and it still needs to break out. So it can still go either way. All right, it is 8 p.m. here. I'm going to go out and grab a drink. Whoa, you've been following me since 2015? That's impressive. By the way, for those of you that have not been following me since 2015, I was going to tweet this out like on the anniversary of this interview. One of my favorite interviews I've ever done was with a podcast called Be Libre. I think they only had like 5 episodes. I don't think it ever lasted. It's on my blog. I don't write much on the blog. Huh. That didn't work, did it? And that didn't work either. Okay. Try that. There it is. So you can search for it. If you go to my blog and do a search for Libre. Oh, I hope this works. It's on SoundCloud. So this is the favorite interview I've ever done. Let me see. I think you guys can hear that. Just gonna grab a random part, maybe somewhere in the middle.
It'll rebound, and everyone will start screaming. Gold will be God knows how much, and it'll probably make a new high just based on height.
It's from 2015.
That's the thing. I mean, look, the future of gold as money is pretty much over. Mm-hmm. And you can value your nation because you can buy a bunch of gold. But as far as using it in commerce, those days are long gone.
You guys hear it?
I mean, you always have the the crazy prepper that's gonna say, oh, what if the electricity goes down, or what if the internet goes down? How good are your bitcoins? The funniest one is when they say, oh, so what are your bitcoins gonna do when there's no internet? And then my answer is, yeah, but nothing else would work either. What do you think your bank's gonna do?
Yeah.
And then they take it one step further. Well, what are you gonna do if there's no electricity? And I'm like, well, then 98% of the world will die. I'm sorry, I have to be blunt about it, right? I mean, we have half the world is run by nuclear power. What do you think happens to those buildings if there's no electricity?
Everyone north of the equator is in a hell of a time. It's time to move
Right.
south.
Yeah, it's gonna be a bad time.
It's absolutely true.
So-
Agree with 100%.
But it'll take several generations to get used to the
Oh, this
digital
part.
age. We don't-
This part's the best.
Just wait another 100 years. Gold's been money for 6,000 years, and another 100 years of living in the digital age will completely turn it into a real relic. But it'll have, historical significance. It'll still have value,
Right.
but it's not gonna be used as a currency.
I mean, because it's used in our machines, it's used in computers, phones, and all kinds of electronics. So gold still has a place, and we'll,
Yeah, it has a place, but that's minimal, and there's replacements.
of
I want to
course.
tell you a really quick story, Tone. A really quick story. There's a little 7-year-old. She's 7 now. And I'm part of a body painting organization. We get painted all the time. Whenever we have an event, there's this little 7-year-old girl is always there. She creates little magnets for refrigerators. And she sells them. About a year ago, when I first met her, she was like, would you like to buy a magnet for $5? And I asked her, do you accept Bitcoin? And of course, she goes, what's Bitcoin? So I explained it to her, spent about 20 minutes, put up my mind for a second. I was like, it is true. That is exactly what we're doing. We just need to educate the next generation and everything will be fine. At least to make, the understanding of Bitcoin a reality.
Of course. So, Tone, talking about Bitcoin and as a store of value, you said that it's not so good for that right now. We have all these fluctuations in price and value. Is it really, do you think it's going to take 100 years for that to stabilize, or for us to get to a point where we can all feel a little bit more comfortable about using it as a currency?
I don't know if Bitcoin will ever stabilize, right? I hope it does. I don't know if it will stabilize. I don't know at what price.
It's cool listening to these 10-year-old interviews.
But if Bitcoin does take off, and eventually one Bitcoin is worth, upwards of $10, $20, $30,000.
Here we are.
Does it really matter if it's fluctuating for you to buy your cup of coffee?
Yeah.
It matters if you're going to buy a house, and in that case, there will be computers will be more advanced. We'll have smart contracts. I believe in technology, and they'll hedge your value. There will be ways to lock in prices.
Right.
So you just have to let it do what it does. And it's not a good store of value right now, only because of volatility. I mean, I'm personally, I like it. I'm okay with it. I'm willing to take the volatility risk, but that's because I believe in the long-term future of Bitcoin. But I will never say it's a great store of value. It is, I'm not even going to say it's the best form of just moving your assets. It's the only form of moving your assets without someone looking over your shoulder, right?
Yeah, no friction. Yeah.
And again, I'm not talking about illegal activity, even though the word illegal is very, very different based on who's saying it.
Right.
Just your money, right? Take a guy that's worked his entire life and he managed to save a few $100,000 for his retirement. And I know Obama thinks that's rich. And if you
It was back under Obama days.
if you make 250,000, you're actually part of the 1%. So when they all say tax the 1%, well, guess what? That's the average person living in New York, right? It might be some guy living in the middle of Alabama or San Antonio. I mean, to them, making 250,000 is incredible amount of money, but for someone that's living in Manhattan, that's probably your comfortably living in Manhattan. That's your minimum salary, right? So things are different. Depends on where you are. So if you saved a few $100,000, then what, you're going to leave it? If you happen to be at a Cyprus bank, if you have your savings at a Greek bank, they can just come and take it. And Bitcoin removes that option. Of course, you're taking on huge volatility in the price. So one day you've saved $250,000, and the next day you've only saved $220,000. But as far as moving that value across borders, that is an untapped killer app of Bitcoin that no one realizes. That's it. I mean, there's no need to look for a killer app. The ability to move your personal assets anywhere you move without permission is the killer app, and that's never going to change.
Very powerful.
If Bitcoin is to survive.
I've got a student that sends $1,000 back to Vietnam every month. He used to use Western Union with all the percentage taken out. She would get $850. Now he uses Bitcoin, so he sends $1,000 worth to Vietnam every month. And I'm sure after he sent a certain amount, you'd get some letter in the mail that says, "Hey, you can't send money outside the country anymore." But since he uses Bitcoin, he has no regulation impeding him. It's great.
Yes,
That's
now
fantastic.
there is friction on both ends, right? I mean, if he needs to convert into Bitcoin, and that's not usually free, you have to have some connections to get it.
Right.
If you buy it at Coinbase, if you do buy it at Coinbase, it's 1%. I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Oh no, I made a joke. I said, yeah, he does have a hookup. He's got me. I'm very helpful. But no,
Oh, okay.
I use Coinbase to help him. So I'll buy the Bitcoin
Right.
for $2.50 and just give it to him for free. So
Right.
I think
So you have to have connections to kind of buy it, without paying much of a percentage. And then you have to
All right, guys. Well, I could listen to that all day, actually. I think it's one of my best interviews, and it was so old. It was like one of my very first interviews, that it's really cool to go back and listen to it. And unlike most people, everything I said back then is like as true today as it is then. I didn't say the word unconfiscatable. Wish I did. I really want to have a claim to that word as old as possible. But sometime in 2015 or 16, I did use that word unconfiscatable, how I ended up with the domain. All right, guys, I'm going to get going. Thank you all so much for watching. Check out that interview. It was really good. And I will see you all on the next one. Oh, yeah, speaking of Bitcoin, there it is, Bitcoin's birthday.